Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
So excited to have you guys joining us for our first webinar of 2023. Excited to get this year started off right.
It's so dark and gloomy. I'm just so grateful that you guys are here. Hopefully with a cozy beverage or maybe a glass of wine. Anybody having a glass of wine?
Have one for us too, please.
Oh, that would be so great. That would be good.
We've got our waters, so.
I know. Boring.
Hey, we want to make sure we get that information out right.
That's exactly right. So I hope you guys don't mind, but we are recording this because there's so many that want to be here, but unfortunately can't. So we are going to share this tomorrow with all of you and to those that registered and that can't be here. So please feel free to ask any questions, and I'll be mining the questions, and Sheri will be mining the deck, and we'll get this party started shortly.
Yes. Still got several joining us, so we'll give a couple more minutes to let everybody get started.
I'm trying to think of how I can help you. You good being right where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll be using the chat room. You guys feel free to put any comments, questions, anything you want in the chat room, but also feel free to open up your mics and ask questions. Even during the presentation, we do not mind the interruptions at all. So feel free to just unmic and chat with us.
I like that Chevelle is drinking her water too.
Oh, good for you. Thank you, Chevelle. We appreciate that. By the way, your picture is absolutely gorgeous.
For sure.
You
I
are
love that.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Such a gorgeous smile. I love that.
I agree. And if you want to open up your cameras, feel free. If not, that's fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with, but really this is your time. We may go a full hour, we may not, but we just want to give you good, valuable information. Well, hey, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie, all right.
Yeah.
Turning that camera on. We love it. Appreciate that. That's awesome. It's
love
great to see your face. And remember, this is the no judgment zone, and it's not just on finances. We don't judge on anything.
We sure don't. What do you think, Sheri? Should we get started?
We are going to get started. So welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you with us today. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see our presentation.
I think you're good. All right, Carrie, thumbs up if you're seeing the financial fitness no judgment zone slide.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Great. Only thing is, I can't see the chat.
That's the trick. I think it'll pop up. I think we'll see it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, let's get started. Welcome to our very first webinar of 2023. We're excited to get this started with our topic of defeating debt. Remember, this is the financial fitness no judgment zone. We don't judge. We just provide some guidance and a place for you to feel free to ask questions and know that we are here as a financial resource. Susan and I both are financial coaches, and so we're very excited to be here to share some great tips with you.
Yeah, and a lot of these are things that we've learned, we've researched, but we've also lived and made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, none of this it's not like you're on a financial trip, right? And you arrive at the place where you want to be. Oftentimes it's a journey, and sometimes there are left turns and sometimes there are pitfalls. And we certainly understand that. So we really come after it with just trying to give some practical advice. When we're sharing things and there's a topic and you've had that experience and you've been able to weather it in a different way, that's the kind of information we would love to hear, because really at the end of the day, we have found that our attendees have really great examples as well.
Absolutely. So that's why we encourage your participation and we value your input. So let's get this party started.
All right, so Sheri and I were on WCIA, CI Living yesterday. It was really fun. We get to work with Grace and Heather on a regular basis. And I was like, all right, how are we going to introduce this defeating debt? Like, how are we going to start talking about it? I mean, intuitively, we all know that January can sometimes stink after the holidays. But what I did not realize was it is a quantifiable thing. Research has shown that there is the bluest Monday of the entire year, and we just had it. It was last Monday, and it actually now they're talking about blue week. We're in blue week. Why is that? Well, the holidays are a lot of fun, right? And some of us took downtime, and that's wonderful. And we went back to work after the new year, but there's still kind of a slow progression to some work. You know, some of us don't have the luxury of that, but some of us do. But you know what? We're in it now. We're in it. We're feeling the fast pace of our workload. And the other thing that has hit is all those credit card statements and all the bill statements. Plus, there's also a longer period of payroll. So this is a long month. We're going into January 31st. So this is not one of those fun little short months like February is going to be in 28, where you get your paychecks a little earlier. So combine that with the reality of your credit card statements. And Sheri and I both know this, and this is again researched as well, that we spend more money when we're swiping plastic. And in our minds, we think we spent X amount of dollars. And then shoot, you get those statements and you're like, wait a minute, is there fraud in my account? No, they're just probably we've overspent. So that's the reason why they've dubbed this Blue Monday. But you know, the thing is, I think what we're about to share and the knowledge that Sheri is about to share with y'all is really the remedy to Blue Monday.
Yeah, I think this is a good remedy to Blue Monday. Mm-hmm. And now that I know that it's a thing, maybe we'll work towards that for next year.
I agree.
So we're going to do a quick little icebreaker with you guys. We want to know, what's your New Year's tradition? Do you have a tradition that you bring in the new year with? And what is that? Just pop it in the chat real quick. And we just want to see, you know, what kind of traditions
okay,
do you
I'm gonna
have?
bust you out. I'm gonna while they're writing some of their traditions and things that you all did to ring in the new year, you got to tell us what you and your husband did. I'm sorry, you already shared it. I don't know if you were planning on it. I had never heard this before.
So it's in here. I do have it as some examples. So, you know, just to get you started, here's an example. One, black-eyed peas with collard greens.
Helen usually works. All right, thank you, Helen, for doing that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
This is for financial prosperity. You know, beans for good luck. We've heard of that one. Going to a New Year's Day football game. Oh, awesome. Yes, bowl game.
Yeah, good. That's a good one too.
Yes. And then here's what we did. So my husband was reading that this.
I like relaxing at home, by the way.
I do.
I'm with her.
Yes, relaxing at home, just having chilling, but opening your doors and windows at midnight to usher out the old year and bring in all that fresh air and the fresh new year. So that is something. And so I will just tell you, our fourth quarter in our family was not good. And so my husband said, we're opening up everything. We're opening all the windows and the doors. We're opening it all. We're getting out 2022 and bringing in some good luck. And knock on wood, so far it's been good.
I like that. I love the football games. I like the rest and relaxation and relaxing at home. I think these are all really good ones.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate your sharing. All right, on to defeating debt. So let's just get started here. We need to understand our spending. This is one of the first keys to really defeating debt. And where do we want to be with our finances?
Yeah,
do we want to be debt-free, or do we just want to be financially secure? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's what is important to you, what is valuable to you. So when we're talking about defeating our debt, we need to understand our spending and we need to know where we want to be. Is it writing it down? Whatever works for you. You get a lot of people that are very goal oriented. And so maybe if you're goal oriented, you're writing that down. Where do you want to be? I want to be debt free. I want to be debt free when, you know, at what point in time? I just want to be financially secure. So what does that look like for you? So understanding our spending, the why to our spend, this is really key when you're defeating debt, because all the budgets in the world, all the, financial coaching isn't going to help you if you don't understand why you spend your money. Are you a delayed reward discounter person? Like buy it now or save for later? This is a place where a lot of us can get into trouble. If you are a buy it now, whether you have the money for it or not, rather than saving it and buying it when you do, this is where sometimes we get into some credit card debt or credit issues. So understanding, what kind of spender are you? Do you have that FOMO? Do you have that fear of missing out on something, that scarcity? I read a really great example of this the other day. If you're planning a vacation, say your vacation is, 6-8 months down the road, but you're online, you're just taking a look at the, your ideal hotel that you want to stay at or whatever. And the website has one room left at this hotel for the week you're going to be there. Then you're probably like, oh my God, I have to get this now. It may not be the best price. And you're thinking, oh, I'm going to spend more money, but I better get this now because this is where I want to stay. That's that fear of missing out. You don't want to miss out on that opportunity. Or maybe it's the buy one, get one freeze. Oh my gosh, those are killer for me. Those buy one, get ones. I have a fear of missing out on a really good deal. And chances are, really, did I need 2 pairs of those boots? I just had that fear of missing out on a good deal. And social pressure, fitting in despite the cost. You're out with your friends, you guys are having some drinks, some dinner. You set a budget. You knew exactly how much you wanted to spend, and you've spent it. But your friends want to keep on going, and they're like, oh, you need to come with us. And you're like, no, I had a budget. But they keep at it. And that's that social pressure. Or maybe it's that pressure to fit in. Maybe it's having the latest and the greatest and the hot styles or whatever. And maybe it's having your lawn look a certain way. Whatever it is, these are the things that we need to kind of talk to ourselves about. Why do I spend money when I spend it? When I go shopping, if I see something that I really like, do I have that conversation in my head? Do you do that, Susan?
In what way?
So for me,
yeah, if I don't have a list,
Mhm.
then I overspend.
Well, for me, I might be out shopping. I don't really have a goal. I'm just out shopping, and I might see something. I'm like, I really want that. But do I have the conversation in my head that if I buy it now, am I rewarding myself? Or if I save for later and then buy it when I have the money, or do I swipe my credit card and know that I really don't have the cash to pay it out at the end of the month?
Yeah, and I think those are all different types of psychology. I think the other psychology that we sometimes have is we find that we buy things for love. So some of us, we will extend and illustrate how we love somebody by the gifts we bring them. And that's something to be mindful of as well. When I think about social pressure, I think about the demands of living in America, right? And keeping up with the Joneses. And oftentimes we've got, young adults, right? So they've graduated from trade school, they've entered the workforce, they've graduated from college, whatever it is, and they're about to get their real paychecks. And they really don't have anything in their credit report to illustrate their debt to income. And in their minds, so they're thinking, well, I think I can afford a $300 car payment, but I really would love that $60,000 truck, right? I'm just as an example. And the reality is, you really need to know what your budget is and look for that and what you can afford, even if a banker, a financial guy or woman at a auto dealership is trying to talk you into something that you don't think you can afford. That's all illustrations of different types of social pressure.
Yes.
And being a savvy consumer is understanding what you need to live in your lifestyle and not being swayed for any of these types of psychology, different, marketing and advertising is powerful. And it plays on all of these spending psychologies that Sheri just talked about. And it's really understanding what your needs are that you've talked about and tempering that with your wants.
Right.
But I think it's really hard because marketing is smart.
It is.
And it's all designed. Brands are trying to get you to separate your cash. All right.
Absolutely.
So this is why I switched to buy online and pick up to keep me from overspending. And, Marcelina, that is a really great tip. And that's another way to get in and out of a grocery store very efficiently and under budget. So I think that's a really great tip. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Lisa
that's
P,
huge.
when I need to mind my budget, I have to limit my time on social media. Oh my gosh, I'm going to age myself. We were just talking about this. Back in the day, they had infomercials. It was bad. Like I'm dating myself now. And now Instagram is the new infomercial. And in those dang little 90-second sound bites, it's like the best thing ever. So amen, sister. That social media, Instagram, I should just get rid of that app.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Whatever is causing you to spend that money that you're really not wanting to spend, that you really didn't budget to spend.
It's the mindless spending.
Yes. Well, and we're going to talk about some ways to kind of combat that. So to get started, we want to assess a few things. We want to assess our needs, our wants, and our savings. And these are three areas that if you've been with us before, or if you stick through with us through the year, this is really the basis of a spending plan for life. Your needs are the things that you absolutely have to have. You have to have roof over your house, roof over your head.
Well, it's good to have a house with a roof.
Yeah, it is. That is true. Food on the table. You've got to have your utilities, car expenses. If you've got kids, you're probably paying for childcare, and that could be a must for you, or you might be fortunate and have some other options that aren't as costly. And then insurance, your wants or anything that you want that's not a need. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about, subscriptions, memberships, eating out. So, part of that needs and food, that's not your eating out. That's going to the grocery store, shopping with an intention. Your savings, you're saving for retirement, unexpected expenses, vacation, Christmas club. I mean, saving for Christmas so that maybe in January, you're not feeling all that blue, you can combat that Blue Monday.
And I will share, I mean, this is a credit union plug. We have it. Other credit unions do too. It's a real staple, but we offer a Christmas club, and this is the best month to get started in. And it's about putting in what you can afford and watching that grow during the year. And Sheri always lights up when October 1st comes in and that money gets deposited into your savings account, because now you've got cash money to either buy experiences or presents or food or whatever those extra expenditures are. And I would say it's not just about presents, it's about the meal expenses for Thanksgiving, the meal expenses for the holidays. But even if you are very frugal when it comes to presents, those meals themselves are really pricey.
They are. Or travel. If you have to travel to be with family, gas is so expensive. So it's knowing that you've got this little nest egg that can help you through with those expenses.
For sure.
No matter what you put aside throughout the year. So how do I get started? Well, let's talk about our needs. You're going to have to make some changes more than likely. And so with your needs, an ideal needs is no more than 50% of your take-home income. So for some, you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way. But this is ideal. It can be tweaked a little bit, but we're going to use that as the true example. So figuring that out, so taking your take-home monthly income and dividing it by 2 to understand where that 50% is. If your needs are more than 50% of your take-home income, try and look for some ways to cut back, shop around for your insurance. If you haven't shopped around for your insurance for a while, do that, because you might be able to find lower rates, or your current insurance agent might be able to lower some things for you.
And they're more willing to lower if you've already done the legwork and you're about to jump, because they don't want to lose you as a client. And if you have a better offer, go back to your insurance, so then you don't have the hassle of jumping, but you get to have the benefit of that lower rate.
Absolutely. And think about increasing your deductibles. I know a lot of us think, oh, I need that lower deductible, because what if I have an accident and then I can't afford that deductible? You can save for that. So think about this. Say you have, right now you have a low deductible, 200, say it's $250, okay? But your insurance, what you're paying monthly for that insurance for that low deductible, is probably pretty high. If you increase your deductible, then you take the savings that you made and you put it into a savings account, because guess what? You may never have to use that for a deductible, and then you've got some savings. But if you're paying for that lower deductible, you're paying the insurance company. Pay yourself.
That's a good one. What I love about that one is, to your point, then it promotes safe driving. So you're saving those dollars into this fund just in case. And that year goes by, and now you've got money that you didn't think that you had, because so many of us are living paycheck to paycheck. But you've increased your deductible, you've covered yourself, but now you didn't need to use it. Boom. Now you've got the start of an emergency fund. And that's really exciting. That's a good tip.
Discount shop for your groceries. So many times we end up shopping at the most convenient place, and it may not be the best for our budget. So think about discount shopping. We like Aldi's. I like the dollar store. There's some great options.
Aldi. Yeah, we like Aldi.
We love Aldi.
And I like Costco too. And Costco sometimes, but you got to be mindful, because sometimes they're not the cheapest, and you just have to, I find that if you make a list and you're a shopper, you start to get pretty savvy. It's not the first or second time, but eventually you start to get a feel like, oh, this is convenient because it's here, but I can go to Aldi and get something, the same thing for a cheaper price.
Absolutely.
So that's being mindful of that too.
Budget billing on your utilities. This is something that I've done for years. I love it, because I know exactly how much my power bill is going to be every month. Now, it does get adjusted based on my consumption throughout the year. Sometimes it's going to be lower, sometimes it's going to be a little higher. But where this helps me is that I know what it's going to be every month, so I can plan better for that.
Well, the other thing about your utilities, and I'm going to share something and hoping somebody here is going to bail me out on this. I live in a smaller community outside of Champaign-Urbana. We had brokered our electric with a different supply house. It was still under Ameren, but it came from a different provider. And their kilowatts were lower than just going with Ameren. Well, that contract ended. So now we as a consumer need to re-up. And boy, oh boy, did I see the difference in my heating bill in December. So I'm heating back up for February. I'm going to miss it for 2 months because I wasn't quick enough on the draw. It's my way of saying there is Ameren, but then there are these other electric providers. And that's where you can, again, none of this is without a little bit of energy and effort, but it's becoming savvy about what that kilowatt prices are. No gas furnace in Central Illinois. I'm not sure what that means, but I do know there is something with the different providers and reselling the electric. So I just wanted to share that. I wish I was a little deeper in that knowledge, but I do know that is another way to really cut back on your utility costs as well.
If any of our listeners know any more about that, feel free to put something in the chat. That would be great. And then you know, one of the things that we do have as a need these days that it used to be really a want is our cell phones. So many of us don't have landlines anymore, and we really rely on our cell phones as our primary source of communication. And so this is something that we have started including as a need. But it also is something that you can negotiate and look for cheaper plans to meet your needs. Maybe you're a cell phone user that you don't really care whether you have a smartphone or not. You don't need all that data stuff. You don't want to, you know, use it as a computer. And so you can maybe look for a cheaper bill, but you have options. You have places you can go to price check, just like your insurance, you can price check your cell phone. So just starting to think about the things ways you can cut back on your needs.
Yeah, I love that, because basically that's not changing anything today. That's just finding things that you're already spending on and how to reduce that spend. So you don't even need you don't need a salary increase for that. You just need to kind of look at a few of these areas, and it can start making a difference in your monthly extras.
Absolutely. Your wants, that's 30% of your take-home pay. Take a look at where you're spending that money. So this is really, it's anything you want, but it's anything you want that's not a need. It's your subscriptions, it's eating out, it's clothing, it's memberships, it's anything that isn't a need or savings. Many of us are spending more there than we realize. And a lot of it is either repetition or we're not using it. So for instance, if you have cable and you have internet and you've also got YouTube or Hulu or, something like that, you're paying for all these streaming apps. Do you really need cable? Do you really need all those streaming apps? And how often are you watching them, using them? So thinking about that, gaming apps, the same thing. Amazon. I'm just going to taltalk to you about Amazon.
I started smiling when I saw the Amazon.
I love Amazon. I'm a Prime member. If you are a Prime member, you better make sure you're using everything Prime has to offer. And that's free books, free movies. There's all kinds of free stuff out there with Amazon. But here's where you need to be careful with Amazon or any other shopping app. Disconnect your credit cards or debit cards, whatever you've got connected, disconnect them. Because if you're sitting on the couch, because I am a couch potato shopper, I'm just going to tell you.
She is. And if you have to give her a glass of wine, forget it.
Yeah, right. I am not, and I get comfy on the couch and I'm on Amazon. If my credit card's attached to my app, I am buying.
And you have a problem when the boxes come in and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I order?
I don't know.
That is a thing. This is like, we're not the only people. I know we're hitting some nerves here. But I gotta tell you, one of our colleagues, Erin, she actually has gotten serious when it comes to Amazon. And you know what she did? She just took the app off her phone.
Yep, she did.
And I got to give her a lot of credit, because you know what Amazon's done? Amazon used to have really good prices. They used to have really good prices. It's kind of like what Walmart did when they first came into markets, but they're not really about the best prices anymore. They're about the most efficient service. So many times, if there's something on Amazon that you want, go to the web and find the brand. And I guarantee 9 times out of 10, it will be cheaper from the brand. It may not be as efficient. You might have to wait an extra day, but you will get a better cost. But Amazon brought us in with lower rates, and those lower rates have increased. So Erin just doesn't play anymore. The app is gone.
Yep.
Okay, so here we've got some good things. So Marcelina, if you are a student, you can get your Prime 50% off, as well as Hulu. If you are a student, it's only $1.99, and that is a great deal. And I did not know that.
I did not. That's great. Thanks for that.
And then Chevelle has a limited myself to once a month treat. And I think that's fair.
Perfect.
Because that's why, wants are a thing. That's why I love Sheri's budget so much. You want to see what Lisa has to say? Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, it's an electric aggregation program. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Contact your town, city, village to see if they have opted into the program, and you can work with a rep to enroll or see if it can reduce your electric bill. That's great, Lisa. Thanks for that information. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, and it makes a real difference because I was in the program, now I've fallen out of the program. And let me tell you, it was, and I feel like it was almost an extra $100.
Mhm.
And an extra $100 a month is real money.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lisa. It's a really good
Appreciate
tip
that.
for everybody.
Yes. Other things to include and to consider where you're spending your money, eating out, your clothing. Are you budgeting for that? And memberships. How many of us have memberships places? The gym is the big one right now. We're probably using them because we're in January and that's what happens after the holidays. We all work out. But are you paying for something you're not using? That's the biggest thing. Really evaluate that. I want to throw another one in here that came up at a presentation I was doing the other day, and that is budgeting apps. There are tons of budgeting apps out there, but be careful, guys, because number one, the ones that really help you cost you. Number two, you're putting a lot of information out there, okay? A lot of your personal information. If you're looking for a way to manage your money, this 50, 30, 20 is really what I'm walking through. This spending plan for life is a great way to get started, and it's easy for you to do. Anything is going to take some legwork. The budgeting apps, you still got to put the information in. You
Right.
still have to do some
And it's in
work.
your bank ledger. If you're using your debit card and a predominantly either a check writer, which I'm sure none of us are anymore, but a debit card user, it's all in your home banking account.
Yes, it's all accessible to you.
You've got your own, you've got your budget tool right there.
Yes, you do. And so, that's something to be aware of, just so that when you're looking for ways to make changes and improve your bottom line, just really evaluating where your money's going.
Yeah, I love that. And it's all about small changes. And it's these little changes. And I'm going to share something, and I also have to temper it, because if it's a want and you've got the money for it and it brings you joy, do it. So I'm just going to share.
Absolutely.
If you love a latte from Starbucks and you're paying $7 for that darn thing, I hope you love it and enjoy it. But if you take $7 times it by 300, that's almost $2,100 a year. And that's real money. That being said, I know people who, like my daughter, that girl, she loves herself a Starbucks, and it is something that gives her joy, and it's her want. So be it. I just look at that $7 and I keep doing the math on it. And I'm like, that's my cash money right there. So it's little changes that can add up and make a big difference at the end of the year.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. I love that.
$2,100.
$2,100.
But again, if it brings you joy
and
it's part of your wants, well, then enjoy that latte and go forth.
If it fits in with that 30%. But if you're wanting to go on a vacation and you're trying to figure out how you're going to save, that's $2,100.
Mexico on that money. I'm just saying. And get unlimited lattes while you're there.
There you go. That's right. The last area we're looking at is savings and debt repayment. And why do we combine these two?
Yeah.
Here's why. Because when you're trying to get your finances into a better place where you are developing spending habits and a plan for the rest of your life, you want to tackle that debt. So while you still want to put a little money in savings, you really want to focus on any debt repayment, especially high interest debt.
Yeah,
so this is 20% of your take-home income. Why are we doing this less than our wants? Well, here's why. Because if you're putting too much in this bucket, then you're not enjoying life. Or if you are enjoying life, then you're putting money in savings, taking it back out to enjoy life, or you're putting on a credit card.
Or you're going to fall off the wagon real hard.
Exactly.
You're going to do it for 1, 2, maybe 3 months. And then that 4th month, boy, oh boy, you're going to go on an all-out binge, because you can't live to work and pay debt and savings. If you do not carve out some fun or some fun time, some fun money, y'all, it is not sustainable.
That's right. So where we talk about focusing, paying off the high interest debt. There's a couple of ways. I'm going to run through these real quick tonight on debt snowball and avalanche. I hope some of you have heard of those. And putting something away for emergencies. That is so important. If you have no other savings right now, start an emergency savings, even if it's $1 a paycheck. Payroll deduct it, get it into that account, and start building that emergency
Okay,
savings.
how much money should they have in an emergency savings?
To begin with, let's start. Our first goal is $1,000.
See, and I say 500.
Okay, see, we don't agree, but that's okay. I think 500, you know what, as far as I'm concerned, if you have $200 by the end of the year, that's a.
But I
that's a
have to
start.
tell you, I feel like 1,000 is the new 500.
It is.
I
Yeah.
feel like what used to be a $500 thing is now $1,000. So I may be coming off of that, but get to 500, get to 250, then celebrate, get to 500, because that
Exactly.
emergency fund is really important because it gets you off the credit card in case your tire breaks down
Right.
or your car breaks down.
The goal is to get money set aside so that you're not relying on credit for those emergencies. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna walk through
this
the
is good.
snowball. So the way a debt snowball works is, for example, you've got 3 high interest credit cards that you want to pay off. You're paying the minimums on all 3 of them, and you're just struggling. You're just like, I'm never going to get these paid off. The first thing you have to do, you got to stop using the cards. Put them in the freezer, and I don't know how many of you have
You put
heard.
them in, yeah.
You get a bowl of water.
Mhm.
You put your credit cards in the bowl of water. You stick it in the freezer
You stick them on ice.
on ice, because if you want to use them, you have to thaw them out to use them, and you must really need them badly to do that. Get them out of your wallet, get them off your apps, do something to get them.
It's
away from
taking
you.
that action, and you know what? If you take that action, it will help you be stronger taking this action.
Absolutely. And so to get started, you take your lowest, with the snowball, you take your lowest balanced card and you say, okay, how much can I realistically pay on that card every month to get it paid off? And then you're just going to pay minimums on the other 2. So say that first card, your minimum is 20, but realistically, you could pay 40 a month on that. And then you're going to pay the minimums on the other. So you're paying $40, that's double your minimum on that smallest credit card. When you get it paid off, you're going to take that $40 and you're going to roll it into the next lowest card. So now, instead of paying $20 minimum on that other card, you're paying $60 a month on that. And then you're still paying the 20 minimum on your third card. And then when you get that second card paid off, you're taking that $60 and you're putting it on that last card. Now you're paying $80 a month on that last card. And before you know it, you will have those credit cards wiped out. The key is you cannot put anything on them when you're doing this. Otherwise, you will just spin your wheels and you'll never get that debt paid off. The avalanche is just the reverse. You're starting with your largest amount and working your way up. Whatever works for you. For me, I like the quick rewards. So I want to pay that smallest one off first, because that's going to give me momentum to keep going. All right, so that's my quick and dirty on the debt snowball.
But I will say, there are times where you may want to talk to your financial institution, and I'm going to tell you, credit unions are here to help with consumers. The U of I Credit Union is here as your financial coach to help you even consider a debt consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you've got kids, you've got life is happening, and you've got these interest rates on your credit cards that are going up, and you just need something more than a debt snowball or an avalanche.
Sure.
And you're just at your wit's end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what credit unions are here for. That's what we're here for. You come in and talk to one of our reps and own it. And let me tell you, we're all about the no judgment zone. We're all about no shame. This is what we do. We
Right.
love to help people. get out and save more and make more money with their earnings. So I will share, there is a time for a debt consolidation. And you know
Absolutely.
what? That can be the most empowering thing you can do to put yourself on a plan so that you know within 12 months, 24 months, 18 months, I don't know what it is, but that debt is gone. And you've got a reasonable payment
Mhm.
and you're not playing the crazy interest game anymore. And I'm just going to say, I just think there is a real time and place for a debt
Oh,
consolidation.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's, we want to be your resource, because if you are so overwhelmed with all your debt that you're just like, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know what to do. Get a hold of us. Let us help you get through that. That's what we're here for.
That's right. Because, so many, and obviously this is not this group because you're here today, but, this is information for you to have for your son, your daughter, your girlfriend, your family, maybe your mom and dad. That sometimes consumers just are afraid of being judged and they sweep this stuff under the rug, and it just takes a toll on you mentally, physically, and your overall well-being is never going to be as great. So just get that word out that this is, you shouldn't have to suffer alone. And there's places like us and other credit unions that are here to help
Absolutely.
consumers in their community for sure.
Thanks for that, Susan. That was
Yeah,
great.
no, it's
Thank
just-
you.
It's
So
just tough.
where do I get that extra cash?
Yeah, girl, we gotta
Oh.
get some money.
Well, number one, stop using your credit cards, freeze them, remove them from your apps. That's going to save you some money. Become that savvy shopper. Evaluate your spending. What does that mean? So when you're spending money, remember earlier I talked about the psychology of spend, the why I spend money. You're like, I don't know why I spend money. This is where it's going to take a little work on your part, but writing down when you make a purchase, write it down. How were you feeling? What was the purpose for that expense? Was it a needed? Were you out grocery shopping and you're getting food for the family or whatever? Or, did you go into Walgreens to get a package of, gum and you came out with $100 worth of stuff? Why?
Right.
Write that down, because that really helps you understand where
right.
you can make changes in your spending.
And it brings awareness to those emotions, because oftentimes there's these emotional things that we're trying to nurture with spend.
Exactly.
And that is so smart to bring awareness to that.
It really helps bring that awareness. I'm going to go to the end one and come back to the next one. Enlist the help to keep you on track. Susan talked about that. Not only are we here to help you manage your finances if you're overwhelmed, or you're just not sure where to go, but enlist help to stay on track, whether it's a financial coach, whether it's a family member or a best friend, somebody that can be your lifeline. If you're in a situation where you're like, I'm going to swipe this card and I need some help.
I love that.
I'm going to phone a friend to talk me off the ledge, right? Do that. Enlist some help to from a friend or
And then
trusted
there's a
coach.
time, Sheri, kind of to your point, where I remember back in the day, there were savings clubs. And these are groups of people that come together and they pool their money and they're saving, and they may even buy stocks. But it's kind of like this really savvy way of not just saving, but learning a little bit more about investing, learning a little bit more, holding accountable, and now having your money work for you.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're here for. We're really trying to get all of the people that we get to talk to on the path of building wealth. And it's taking these steps to help you get to that point.
I love that. That's great. Savings club.
I know,
do
right?
that.
We should do that. We should start one.
We should.
Mhm.
We should. Absolutely. So sometimes our money problems aren't our spend. We just don't have enough money for our needs.
And that's real.
And that's real.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's getting a side hustle to help with those extra expenses. So these are some tips. These are some things for you to think about. But getting a side hustle, it might be a temporary thing, but it might be something that you really enjoy. And now you got all your debt paid off and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep this side hustle because now I'm going to start building my savings.
Well, there's two people I think about. We just had a coworker come in and talk about a side hustle that he's had for like 27 years.
Uh-huh.
And this side hustle has paid for trips, it's paid for extras, it's paid for furniture, it's paid for all kinds of things. And he's had this side hustle for 27 years.
Oh.
Back in the day on WCIA, we had a weather lady. She was adorable. She's at another market now. And here she was doing the weather on the news, right? And she loved the Limited, was a female clothing store, and she worked at the Limited so she can get discounts on all of her clothes.
Oh, yeah.
But it kind of inspired me because you realize, good for you for doing that. But she said, I love clothing and I don't want to have to pay full price. And so she went ahead and got a side hustle, and that became her budget to buy all of her clothing and, shopping kind of expenditures.
Love that.
I did too. I've always been very impressed with her for doing that.
So sometimes a side hustle isn't just to bring in the extra income. Maybe it's to help you with your day job, or, provide those discounts, whatever it might be. Because a lot of retail, there's discounts in that retail.
I love
that's
that.
a great
And,
example.
now more than ever, there are things like DoorDash. That's a great resource in the event of just a different type of way to get a side hustle. Uber Eats, there's all kinds
All
of
kinds,
interesting.
yes. Great tips, guys. Thank you. Quick, some resources for you. When you're looking at defeating debt, one of the things you always want to do is know what your credit report says. It's more than just checking your score. It's really pulling your report. You can do this at annualcreditreport.com
For free
on a weekly basis from all 3 credit bureaus. And you can review it. What you're looking for is you want to make sure that everything on those reports you agree with, that there's nothing on there that doesn't belong to you or that you thought had been taken care of. And the reason why you check all 3 is because creditors don't report to all 3.
That's right.
So, always check all 3. You can pull them for free. Not only does this website help you with that, if you've had identity theft or fraud, or you have questions about that, they have resources for you. If there's something on your credit report you don't agree with, you can dispute it.
And it's so easy to dispute.
It is so easy. They make it so easy to dispute. And guess what? When you dispute it, they have to prove that that wasn't yours. And if they can't prove it, they have to remove it.
It's off.
So that's a resource for
Can
you.
we share the actual website? Because if you Google this, you'll see a lot of other websites that are trying to get you to pay for the same sort of information that is provided to you free from annualcreditreport.com. So if you haven't already gone, go check it out. It's a powerful free free source for you. It will give you a credit score, but if you bank with us, you get your credit score in your home banking anyway. Don't pay for that. But you really, to Sheri's point, you want to make sure your information is accurate. And if you disagree with it, dispute it.
Absolutely. Our financial wellness page at uoficreditunion.org.
So much fun. They do such a great job with that. We have a great page, guys.
Yes, we do. Props to our marketing department for this. They did a great job with it.
Super user-friendly.
There's great tools out here to help you on our financial wellness page too. And I don't think I have a screenshot of it. There's a financial wellness assessment that you can take. It's a quick 5-minute assessment that will guide you to on-demand resources that are specific to your needs.
Yeah, because sometimes, I'm so sorry, because you got me so excited about that. Because sometimes you just want to know, am I doing okay?
Yeah, right.
So that's what I wanted to
know. Thank you for that. So, and maybe you don't want to just enlist a coach or talk to somebody, but we have tons of on-demand for you. uoficreditunion.org. Check it out. Financial wellness page. Oops, I went backwards. And there we are. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And we appreciate your time tonight. We hope you've found some value in this, and look for the recording to come out. I'm hoping to get it out tomorrow, but I know I'll have to do some editing. So it may be next week before I get it out to you, but we really appreciate your time tonight.
And that's our email address. So if there's any topics or anything you've been curious about and you'd like to see us talk about, We'd love to hear your topics. Please feel free to do that. And just thank you so much. Let's let this be an awesome, abundant year for all of us in 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year, guys. So glad to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Bye, Helen. Bye, everybody.